So one of the main things when it comes to this studio is that it was originally a closet, a walk-in closet and a bedroom. So I decided to split this into two separate areas, one which is my desk setup and one which is more of a cozy, relaxing gaming area. I also want to say that building or remodeling a studio is not cheap, which is why it has taken some time as well, because I've been waiting for certain days which things usually drop on sale, like Black Friday, Christmas, January sale, and so on. So most of what you see in this studio has actually been bought on sale over a few years. But now I feel like I finally have a space that looks amazing, is convenient to use, and puts off a good vibe whether I record my videos, edit my videos, play some games, or just watch some TV. So for the wall paint, I decided to go for a darker, moody black color, which I think is called Faded Black, but I'll leave the color codes on the screen here just in case you want to test it out, including everything else that's shown in this video. But this is the color I think turned out amazing, and it kind of makes the whole room easier to set up and control with different lights. As for the main desk, this is a solid 100% oak tabletop I got from a hardware store a few years back, and the good thing about this is that I can just sand it down whenever I want and change the color of it as many times as I want, which is the main reason I think going with a custom solid tabletop is the only way to go, because you have so many options to do whatever you want with it, because you won't destroy it. Even if you know, get some scratches in it, you can just sand it down and just repaint it. So this one was originally 4 meters, but I cut it in half, so it's now 2 meters by 80 centimeters and 3.6 centimeters thick. So I have a lot of room for customization. It's also extremely heavy, so if you're getting a sit-stand desk, I would recommend looking into something that can take a hit. Or alternatively, you can use some Alex drawers, which I have here sitting next to my desk, which my custom PC sits on. As for the desk color, I've been using Mocha, and this is something I've been using over the past 4 years, and I think this looks so good. Though this time I only oiled it with 1 layer before I sealed it up with a clear coat, so it ended up being a little bit grayish, so I might have to redo that in the future and add a second layer of Mocha just to get that amazing finish that I'm looking for. Now on the desk itself here, which is quite basic, I didn't want to overdo it. I wanted to keep it clean. So here I have my Creative Gigaworks T40 speakers, which is actually a pretty solid speaker setup for the price. And I've been rocking these for a few years now without any issues. Though the only con here would be the cables between the speakers itself, which is fairly short, but it's just long enough to have one speaker sit on each side of my desk riser. So it works, but I wish the cable could be a little bit longer out of the box. For the desk riser itself, I'm also using one I made myself. So this is also 100% oak, and the feet is basically some painted leftovers from the board, and I just basically super glue them to the board. So that means you don't necessarily have to buy a $180 desk riser just because it looks amazing. Now as for monitor, I'm using the good old LG 38-inch curved WN95CW, which I've had for many years now, and this is not the smallest one, but it's not the biggest one either, which means I don't have to turn my head as much to cover the entire screen. The monitor is held in place by a basic monitor arm, nothing special about it. I think it cost me about $40 back in the days, and I don't think this has to be something fancy either. I mean, the monitor will cover most of it anyway, so as long as it can hold the weight of the monitor, I would just go with something cheap in you know, a basic color. Silver, black, white, whatever floats your boat basically. Now behind the monitor I have my 16-inch MacBook Pro M1 Max, which is what I use to edit these videos, and this sits on the cheapest laptop stand I could find, which actually looks quite nice, but I might end up spraying this in black just to make it fit in a little bit more, or maybe a different color. I don't know yet. That's something for the future, I guess. In front of my MacBook, I have the Ugreen RevoDock 12-in-1 docking station, which adds the missing ports on my MacBook. What I like about this is the conveniently placed SD cards and micro SD card slots in the front here, as well as a USB-A and USB-C port for whenever I need to charge my devices or quickly transfer some files from the SD card to a portable SSD or any other devices. On the back side, there's also 2 additional USB-C and USB-A ports, as well as 2 HDMI ports and a display port and a network port. So this thing right here is what makes my whole workflow smoother and faster, so I don't have to use all these accessory or these dongle accessories which I've been using in the past, which just hangs around and it doesn't look good. Now when it comes to the mouse pad here, which is basically the center of the desk, I'm using a large black leather mat, which is a base filler mat, I would say, just to take away some of the emptiness of the large desk and to make the desk look more stylish. And on top of that, I have a felt mat in dark gray, which looks really good. And this was not really something expensive. I was actually really interested in getting the Groove-made desk mats, but they were so expensive, so I ended up getting these from Amazon for about $40, I think, for both of them. So I'll make sure to leave a link to these down below, including everything else in this video if you want to grab something. And all the links below are affiliate links, which means that I will get a small kickback from your order, but it won't cost you anything extra. So thank you so much in advance. Now, moving back to what sits next to the speakers, I have my SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro, which is connected to both my custom PC and my MacBook Pro. So when I take a break from editing, I can just press a button on the audio interface here, and this will automatically change from my MacBook over to my custom PC instead. It also comes with 2 removable batteries. It has sonar, spatial audio, and an audio mixer to control everything, which also works as a battery charger for the spare battery, and also AI noise cancelling. So if you want one headset only that works with both your devices, whether this is 2 different PCs, a custom and a MacBook, or a MacBook and a PS5, a MacBook Xbox, a custom PC, Xbox, custom PC, PS5, you know, I think this is one of the few headsets, or the only headset I've seen which can do this. So it's really, I think it's worth checking out if you only need one headset for both your devices. And the headphones are sitting on a basic Corsair RGB headphone stand, which I got many years ago. For lighting, not something I can recommend because it glitches out quite often, but you know, it works as a stand and I already had it, so there was no need to buy a new one. And next to that, we have my newly built custom PC sitting inside the NCXT H6 Flow case, which was actually a little bit smaller than I expected, especially coming from the Asus Helios case. So inside here we have the Asus TUF Gaming B550 Pro motherboard, which boasts the AMD Ryzen 7 5700X 3D, which is cooled by the new Trix Panorama 360 liquid cooler. And next to that we have 64 gigabytes of Corsair DDR4 RAM and the MSI GeForce RTX 3090, which is a little bit overkill, I would say. And as for cooling, I have 6 NCXT 120mm fans, which seems to keep everything at a stable 60 to 65 degrees Celsius, which is perfect. Now I also want to add that the only new parts here in this PC build is the motherboard, the CPU, and the CPU cooler. The rest was actually taken from my older setup, so the bill wasn't actually that high. Behind the PC here, I also decided to fill the empty space with some slat walls, and I ended up with a gap from the corner here and 20 centimeters out, just to give it a little bit more depth. I also tried to have them from the corner and out, but it just didn't look as good. Now turning around here, we have my personal lounge, I would say. So instead of just having one side of the room finished with the desk setup and all of that and leave the other side a mess, which it usually looks like or has been for years now. So I ended up putting up some slat walls, which also helps with the echoing I have in this room, or had in this room, because they have these acoustic backplates. And to fill the empty wall, I went with another custom shelf in the same color as the walls. For the seating area, I went with a leather couch, which is more on the expensive side, but I started with this IKEA Söderhamn modular concept and quickly realized that it was better to invest in something better, more comfortable, and something that would last longer, which is why I went with a little bit more expensive couch. If you ask me, I think it's well worth it, especially when I spend so much time here. It's like a home inside a home, away from a home. Yeah, something like that. Now moving over to the TV area here, I decided to go with the LG 48-inch 2023 Evo model, which, by the way, I think LG is the best TVs that you can buy. So if you ask me about the TV, just go get one of the latest LG TVs from 2001 and to 2024-25. You won't go wrong with the LG TV, and it's also fun for the kids because they have this remote and pointer and everything, and the quality and the image you get on these TVs is outstanding. For the TV lights, I went with the Govee Backlight 3 light, which I've been super happy about. In such a small area, it really makes the TV look larger. And for sound, I recently got the Sonos Ray Bar on actually 50% off. That was a crazy deal, so I just had to test it out. I had to get it just to see if this is as good as every other Sonos product that I have in the house. And man, this is amazing. This puts out some amazing sound, especially if you have a smaller room like this. The audio is crystal clear and the bass is not as intense, which makes the hearing experience in a smaller room 10 out of 10. And of course, if you feel like adjusting the bass, maybe the vocals, you can always go into the Sonos app and you can change the treble and you can change the bass, which is fantastic. Now below the TV, I have an IKEA storage unit where I have everything from my action cameras to mini tripods, computer accessories, cables, and basically everything I need but don't need, if you know what I mean. So this is mainly kept for storing everything, just to get things out of the way, and whenever I need it, I know where I have it. In the center of the room, which kind of separates these two different styles, my lounge and my main desk setup, is the Tier 5 bookshelf from Tribe Science in the UK. This measures 105 by 33 by 180 and is the key element in this room, if you ask me. But alone, it sits pretty dark, especially against the dark wall behind it, so I decided to go with some 1 meter USB-A cob lights from Amazon and some cheap diffuser channels. To power the lights, I used some USB-A male to female adapters and connected these to a controllable socket so I can turn the lights on and off with a remote. And of course, I have my play button here and some DJI Lego and some fake IKEA plants. Of course, you gotta have fake IKEA plants. And this is basically where I showcase different items that I want to be highlighted in this room. So I would say that this is probably my favorite thing in this studio. And Yulansi was kind enough to send over their studio clock, which is connected to YouTube. So this now shows the amount of subscribers that I have in real time, and I couldn't appreciate you guys more. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button, and if you haven't done it, make sure to go down there, hit that subscribe button, like button, and notification bell so you don't miss out on the next video. Now with this clock, you can also choose different styles if you want just date, maybe date and time, maybe time, scoreboard, battery, matrix, and more. So it's a pretty neat, cool little device which definitely draws your attention, and if you ask me, it looks pretty amazing. Now, one thing I'm not a huge fan of, never been, especially when it comes to a YouTube studio or an office space in general, is ceiling lights. So this time I decided to set up my own custom ceiling lights with the help of some diffuser channels and some Govee M1 light strips, which can also be extended to a total length of 10 meters. And the reason I went with these RGB strips is basically to have full control, full flexibility when it comes to colors and mood and different effects. So if I want to dim it down and add more of a cozy vibe to it, I can just change the color temperature of the lights, or I can go with a completely different color, a crazy color, maybe some effects, I don't know, just Yeah. Now, the final piece in this office for now is an additional sit stand desk, but this is on the smaller end. It's only 120 by 60 centimeters, and this is the one that I'm using to record this video right now. Instead of being locked to one angle, I decided to get another desk which I can easily move around to achieve different backdrops when I record these videos or when I take thumbnails. On this, I'm also using the Ulanzi VGym LS25 multifunctional desk stand, which is capable of holding my Sony a7S III with the Sony 24mm G Master lens, which is the one that I'm using right now. And this allows me to keep everything off the floor basically, which makes the studio look cleaner, and it also makes it more convenient to use. And it also, you know, makes it easier to move things around because you don't have all these tripods sitting around, which has always annoyed me and just looks unprofessional. It looks messy, so to get everything off the floor is something I've been trying to achieve for years now, and I feel like I finally have it, and I'm so happy about it. For studio lights, I also have 4 of the Cinepeer CF100 lights from Sijun, which has been a huge improvement to this office space. They are small, lightweight and portable, and also comes with this diffuser here, which is perfect for studio recording. They also have RGB, so if I want to set a different mood, for example, I can easily do that by adding different colors, blue, you know, green, turquoise, orange, whatever I feel like it. This one has all the colors. And I've been using these actually now for quite some time, and this is what I've been using as my main studio light here and to light up my face. And that means I finally get rid of the huge softbox that I've been using for years now. And I mean, I sometimes use it, but it's just taking up so much space, and I feel like these tube lights can do the exact same job but in a more convenient way. And I also have them sitting right here. We have one of them, and actually right there we have one which is lighting up the pictures that I have on the wall, but I still feel like this side here is quite empty, so I'm not sure what to do here. If you guys have any recommendations to what I can do or should do, right, oh, this is difficult, right here, let me know in the comments below. So that rounds up my dream studio and desk setup for 2025. If I missed something or if you saw something that I didn't mention or cover in this video, let me know in the comments below, and I'll make sure to drop a link to every single thing in the studio here, so just in case you want to grab something if you found something you liked. So that will be at the end for today's video. Really hope that you enjoyed it. It's been, you know, many years since I made a video like that, but this feels like it has taken many years to build this as well. So that's gonna be it for today. Really hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that subscribe and like button and all of that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Oh, and also Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye bye.
En, to, tre, fire, fem, seks, sju, åtte, ni, 10, 11, 12, 13.